But then as far as revenue, I can think of at least $18,000 that I can tie back to either increasing my prices or new clients, and some of them just actual leads through this process.
Hi there. In this case study interview, I get an opportunity to interview one of my students, Rachel Lucas, who is an incredibly talented coach to HR leaders. And so, Rachel, I just want to say thank you for doing this interview. And I'd love for you to start by just introducing yourself. Just take a moment to share, who your coaching niche is, what you help your clients with, and how it all works.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
I help HR leaders who are struggling with workplace conflict by coaching their leaders to rebuild confidence, to restore communication, and to resolve conflict so that they can reduce turnover in 90 days or less.
Love it. Listen to how clear and specific that is, right? So very, very great niche to serve. And I imagine the nature of your coaching could probably help not just HR leaders and their workplace, but probably, everybody, right? In terms of restoring communication and things like that. So that is a really awesome niche to serve. How does your coaching work? Is it a one-on-one program? Is it a group program? What does the structure look like?
Right now, I'm still mostly doing one-on-one.
Yeah.
And while I do certainly have HR leaders that are my clients, a fair number of them are more sort of executives or managers, often in their first 5 years, often sort of small and medium-sized businesses, and people that are really uncomfortable with conflict and yet are finding that they really need to figure out how to handle it as they're up leveling in their career. As far as the model goes, I started to do more group sessions, and so I just got to do my first leadership retreat. Collaborated with another coach this summer, and we did 9 executives assessments, and then now we're coaching them for the next 6 months. And so certainly group is in the future.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fun shift to pivot to group. I love one-on-one, incredibly intimate and valuable and fulfilling to do one-on-one. But as you know, right, it's not the most scalable model. So as you grow with one-on-one, you start learning how to leverage your time. And I love to see you doing this already and partnering with somebody to help serve multiple, clients. So that's
Thank
really
you.
cool. Well, let's go
I'll
back.
add just one weird thing about conflict. There's sort of a small group model where when you are dealing with two people in conflict, it's kind of a group. So I'm getting a little bit of the best of both worlds.
True. That's true. Yeah, very much so. Well, let's go back to, right when we started coaching, because we've coached together at this point for a few months. And before we started coaching, tell me and tell the viewer where your coaching business was at in terms of, the number of clients you were serving, the income you were earning, the leads that you were getting. Where were you at when we started?
Yeah, so I'd been in business for almost 4 years or a little over at that point, and I was really sort of distracted with trying to do lots of different things in the HR consulting world or in the coaching world. Business was a little slower. I was mostly getting referrals or leads from partners. And certainly, I was measuring income in the tens of thousands instead of, much higher than that, even for a year. It was also, I think, affecting my confidence level. It was hard for me to do what I normally do well when it comes to networking or business development because I wasn't clear on what I was offering. And so, how was I supposed to communicate that in a way that I felt good about?
Yeah. And so that was the main problem. Like if there was one big problem that you're struggling with, it was around kind of clarity around your niche, your offer, things like that. Is that right?
Yeah, I was really struggling with commitment. I think I counted trying to do 12 different kinds of things, sort of kept trying things out and
Yep.
not committing. And so, without that sort of clarity of my niche, that was definitely causing every other problem. I couldn't develop a brand. I couldn't develop a clear product or even feel like I could be attached to a clear vision.
Yeah.
So, definitely
Yeah.
holding me back.
Now, how is that affecting you personally? Because those are business problems, right? And so I totally get how it creates overwhelm, it creates distraction, frustration, but like our business has a ripple effect into our personal life, for better or for worse, right? When things are going great, we have those improvements. Was there anything personally that was happening where it was, challenging and the business was impacting that at all?
Yeah, a couple things. I think one thing when you aren't sure what the direction is can be harder to set boundaries and then make sure you also have enough of a personal life versus sort of worrying about this all the time or putting things on hold
Yeah.
for it. But I think the biggest piece was the relationship with my partner. He really wanted to be involved and be supportive, but had a really hard time understanding who my audience was, who my client was, and so I think it was easier for me to end up helping him all the time instead of me being able to help him being able to help me and be involved, even though he wanted to be.
Yeah.
And so certainly it was feeling frustrating and slow and confusing.
Totally get that. And I think about my wife, how she's helped me. And at times when I wasn't clear, I was struggling with her wanting to help me because she actually, her expertise is copywriting. So she actually has written a lot of the copy for me. But if I wasn't clear, how could she be clear? Right. So totally,
Yeah.
totally get that. Well, when we started working together, I'm curious what some of your biggest concerns or fears were around working with a business coach. You know, you've been doing this for a while, you said multiple years. Did you have any concerns? Did you have any hesitancies or fears when it came to working with me or just kind of reaching out for support and working with a business coach?
Well, I was definitely bought into the idea of a business coach. I'd been asking for referrals and talking to friends about their experiences with people. So I was pretty clear that that was going to be an important strategic step to help me commit to a niche and give me
Yeah,
some process. And it was easier, I think, as well, because I have a friend that was in your class and having good results and could sort of vouch for the experience. But the things that were holding me back were probably a little bit more specific. Um, as I looked at the options and was trying to decide who to choose from, I know one of the things holding me back was my discomfort with Facebook.
yeah,
I've had some difficult experiences with social media, but particularly Facebook in the past, and I wasn't really excited about rejoining for access to this experience.
yeah.
Another piece was around um, the time frame itself. So I already had a commitment during the class time that I really had a hard time moving and knew I wouldn't be able to move forever. And so just availability was a struggle. And then also I tend to not be as motivated in group relationships or group coaching, not as much of a joiner. Already have some group things, and so felt kind of maxed there and was looking for more one-on-one support. So it was just stretching my imagination a little bit to consider.
Totally. Yeah. And I loved having you in our group calls because not only were you there to ask great questions, but you were there to support a lot of others and inspire some of your peers with the results that you got. So I appreciate you trusting that process. And I think that for you watching this and listening to Rachel, if you're looking to work with us or if you're looking to work with anybody else, make sure that what they're going to be teaching you aligns with your values and what you want to do, because there is no one right way to build a coaching business. Right. There's tons of different ways you could do it. You can use LinkedIn, right, for your niche. You can use Facebook. You can use Instagram. You see me now, Rachel, starting to do YouTube, right? Anyone who tells you you have to do this one tactic and this is the only way, and if it doesn't align with you, I think is not the right coach for you if you're watching this. So make sure there's an alignment there. Thank you for being honest about all that. Okay.
Yeah, one
Um,
thing I did find I loved as a result of the group piece
yeah.
was making friends and connections that I'm still, good friends with.
Yeah, totally. Well, let's zoom into what you really learned through Fearless Coach Academy. So I'd love to hear, a couple things, three things that you learned that you feel had the biggest impact on your coaching business.
Yeah, I've actually got a longer list than that, but I'll keep it to three and
Okay.
prioritize.
Well, we can go more. It's
So
okay. More the better.
So I think the biggest piece was the niche piece. I knew that this program would give me not only the structure and the process to choose one, but the external accountability to finally force myself to commit to something. And I knew that I needed that. And since having done so, it's really unlocked all the doors I was hoping it would unlock. I've been able to build a brand and start building a website and really move multiple projects forward and even develop a really clear vision in a way that I was not able to do without that niche. So that part was transformative. And if that was the only thing I'd gotten out of it, it would have still been absolutely worth the
Yeah.
investment.
And if you watching this and hearing Rachel say this is unclear on your niche, that's where we both are going to recommend you start, because it can be great to learn all these cool marketing tactics and stuff like that. But if you're not clear on who your ideal client is and what you're offering them, how you going to generate leads and get clients, right? So thank you for sharing that. That's an awesome win out of the gate. What else?
Yeah, so let me look at my list here. So another one that was absolutely transformative and I think helped me put some other pieces together that I'd already had or knew but wasn't taking action on was around how to add a lot of value to my sales conversations. The brainstorm script process, the conversion, sales process, were really plug and play. I was able to watch the video, take notes, take the script, and I happened to have had a referral come through and was able to just use it immediately with a potential client. And it was so transformative to learn how to add so much value and structure and guidance to that process that it instilled my potential clients with so much confidence and excitement that I felt much better about increasing my prices. And so I was able to immediately double my prices and them not bat an eyelash and see the value there. I was able to increase my business versus my sort of personal type clients by, oh gosh, it was like 300-400% prices. I went from charging 1,500 or 2,000 to 7,500 in a very short amount of time. So just as far as not only raising my prices, having to work less and do better work, but also to feel really confident about it, and for my clients to feel good about the value as well, was really transformative.
That's huge. That is a huge breakthrough. How quickly I think I remember, but I want to hear from you from when we started working together to when you got that first $7,500 client. It was pretty quick, wasn't it? Do you remember how long it was?
The $7,500 one was maybe 3 months in,
Okay.
but the that one that I was talking about, I
Yeah.
went from 1,500 to 2,800 was within a few weeks.
Okay, that's
So
right. I
yeah, it
remember
was
that.
just
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
I got a little reckless and was like, I'm just gonna try the script and see what happens, and
Yep.
was really blown away with how valuable it was.
Which is the what you want to do in business. I love Mark Zuckerberg, whether you love him or hate him, right? In Facebook, I think the way that they built Facebook was very, very smart. Obviously, it became a very successful company, and they said something like break things fast, like build things,
Move fast and
break it,
break things.
move fast and break things, right? So like that's what you did is you move fast, you were coachable, you learned the thing, and you said, I'm going to break my current pricing, I'm going to break my current comfort zone, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to double my prices, and you did. So that's awesome, and well, obviously, well beyond doubling your prices. So
Yeah.
cool. Anything else that you feel you want to share about the things that you learned?
Yeah, so there's certainly, again, a longer list, but I think the number three top thing would be the value of the strong lead magnet. I
Mm,
think before it was something that I didn't value as much as I could have, and didn't maybe even necessarily understand its place in the business sales life cycle. Certainly, you see people around you, even just people on YouTube or whatever, offering these kinds of things, but I don't think I understood the mechanics of it, or really where it fit into everything. And I think it also really helped me sort of think about how that piece was going to fit into, say, things I'm building now, like my website.
yes.
Help me understand how to connect with others in a different way. But one of the biggest pieces that your program provided that I feel like I might not have gotten from somewhere else was, I think you did a really good job of saying, here's all the things you don't need to do and all the things that you don't need to worry about. Here's what doesn't work well, particularly for this model. And so stop worrying about all this stuff and just focus on these things.
Mm.
I found really valuable to stop wasting time on all the things I didn't need to be wasting time on.
That's music to my ears. The fact that you feel that way, Rachel, that's huge. Because, like I often say to new students, I said this to you, is like my job as a business coach and a mentor is not to give you new ideas and add more to your to do list. That's already endless, right? It's to remove the noise and to say, here's what not to do, here's what to do right now. So, the fact that you really genuinely felt that means a lot. So, thank you for sharing that. So those are the three big things. Obviously, there's more, but niche, right? Absolutely, finally
Mhm.
committing to a niche, really dialing in and improving your enrollment process, your sales process, so that you got more clients and you obviously increase your pricing considerably. And then really understanding the value and how to use a lead magnet to start generating a lot of leads. So when you look back at the 3 months, what were the results that you got? Are there like a number of clients that you got during this time? Amount of income that you earned? What were some of the tangible results that you got from all these things that you learned?
Yeah, so I've had a hard time sorting out which clients came from some of this and which were already in the pipeline, but then I used to convert as part of this.
Yeah.
But I certainly did close quite a few clients during this period of time, and I can think of at least one that I'm 100% sure came from the market research process,
Yeah.
and I know there are more in that process, sort of in that pipeline. Um, I think there's an intangible around confidence and vision that will continue to pay off over time.
Yeah.
But honestly, the thing that I value even more than the money, which I will also share, is the improved relationship with my partner, particularly around this work. I feel like I've been talking at a wall for 4 years of why can't you figure out how to help me or be involved or engaged? And for the first time, this process and sort of your videos and having, I think, a shared class to learn together and have the same language
Yeah.
gave him the ability to get really excited and to get really involved, to fully understand my customer, to fully understand my niche and what I'm doing in a way that I don't think he had before at all. And I think that really added to the energy and engagement. I felt like I had true partnership for the first time throughout the entire process. And we've actually realized, due to some other work, that he's actually quite well suited to conflict resolution himself. And so it's been cool to see that there's a vision for us to potentially work together and continue to build the business in the future, with him maybe even being a part of it.
My
So
gosh,
I
that's
think,
amazing.
exponential return as far as a relationship and feeling like I'm not alone in this process.
I love it. I wasn't expecting that at all. That surprised me right there. So that is like amazing to hear. And it excites me because there's a lot of, couples out there that are in partnership personally, and they're also trying to run a business together and support each other. And if they're not clear on the same page, as you know, conflict arises, right? So to know that you two are even, more able to communicate is amazing. So super awesome win. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really given us a foundation to build from, and so really, really huge payoff. Another thing I know that has helped me so much as far as tangibles, having this niche and having a lot of these tools not only has helped me to increase my sales or whatever, but it's really helping me build my brand. And so it's been amazing to get to, say, the website process and say, I'm not confused about what a lead magnet is or what goes here or how to write this call to action on this page because I understand this process and now I can just put pieces together.
Yep.
And so I know I'm going to build a lot. But then as far as revenue, I can think of at least $18,000 that I can tie back to either increasing my prices or new clients, and some of them just actual leads through this process.
That's awesome. Yeah. And that's just in the time that we work together. But like you said, with where your website is at, your brand now, there's obviously going to be future benefits around new leads, also around referrals, right? When you're able to articulate
Mhm.
clearly who you help and what you help people with, they're going to understand better. They're going to be more interested in working with you, or at least referring others to you. So I love that. That's awesome. Well, at this point, for the person watching this, they may be curious. I think they're watching this because they're looking for help in their own coaching business, and they're using this interview as a way to decide if this is a fit or not. Who would you recommend as a student of Fearless Coach Academy? Who would you recommend our coaching program to? Is there any type of coach that comes to mind that you think would benefit from the work that we do?
Yeah, I think definitely anybody in their first couple of years that is a little bit unclear or trying to do too many things. I see that so much with my friends that are in their first couple of years, and certainly I experienced it for a lot longer than I wanted to. So anybody that doesn't have a niche or hasn't been able to commit to one or doesn't even understand the process to commit to one, I think could absolutely benefit. I think the support and the tools and the processes not only give you a lot of answers and guidance, but there's also a lot of here's what you don't have to worry about. And for me, the elimination of all the extra stuff was just as valuable as the things that I got.
Love that. And then what about for the coach that, is watching this? They know they need help, the person that you just described, but they're afraid, right? They're hesitant. They're afraid to make the leap and invest the time or make the commitment or invest the money. Is there anything you would say to them?
Yeah, I would say bottom line it, do the math on the ROI. So look at what's the investment and what's the potential return on the investment. And so I think it's easy to see how you can usually have a 2 to 3 times the investment that you put in back. but also how that's going to continue over time and you'll continue to benefit over time. I think it could also be helpful to consider the intangibles versus just the numbers. So certainly there's a value in increased connection with others. This can be a lonely experience starting a business. And so the
Yep.
opportunity to talk to people that understand exactly what it's like and see where you're at along with them, build relationships and connections is really strong. And then also just the increased confidence that can come from knowing more about yourself and what you're doing and maybe what you don't want in addition to the things that you do want as you move forward.
For sure. Love that. Thank you. Well, for those watching that may want to connect with you, they really resonated with your story, with your niche of who you help and how you're helping HR leaders, resolve conflict with their teams. Where can they go to connect with you and find out more about your coaching?
I am in the middle of a brand change and everything's under construction. So I'd say the best place to find me right now will be on LinkedIn, and you can find me under Rachel Savage Lucas.
Okay, cool. And then from there, at some point, your website's going to be done soon and
Yes.
they'll be able to go there and stuff like that, right? So
Next couple months.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Rachel. And for you watching this, if this inspired you, if it made you more curious about what it looks like to work with me and my team in Fearless Coach Academy, the best way to find out if it's a fit for you is to book in a complimentary brainstorm call with me. And what we'll do is in 15 minutes, we'll basically take a look at your niche and your price point and your offer. We'll kind of figure out what's possible for you. And we'll map out a 3-step game plan and then decide if it makes sense for us to work together. And there's zero pressure, zero expectation. We just want to explore if or how we can help you. And if we can, we'll give you a game plan. You can take it and run with it on your own if you want. If you want to know what it looks like for us to help, we can talk about that. So easiest way to book a call with us, if you want to, is just scroll below this video if you're watching it on our page. And there's a calendar there. Just pick a day and time that works for you. And if you're on YouTube or Facebook or somewhere else, just go to earn100kcoaching.com. That's a link to our calendar and you can book a call there. So Rachel, thank you so much for the time. I'm really, really proud and inspired by the progress that you've made already and the progress that you're going to continue to make. So I appreciate you and I can't wait to see you continue to grow and succeed.
Thanks, Peter.